All right, we're back.
And we're back. And yes,
Tell us your hemp story.
my cannabis story for America, why it's not a good thing there, is basically to do with immigration of the Mexicans.
Those bloody Mexicans.
Those ruddy Mexicans.
Coming over here, stealing our jobs.
Stealing our women and our jobs and our gardening jobs. And our
before you carry on,
cleaning janitor jobs.
There's a great meme going around where you've got there's this really fat obese woman on a mobility scooter driving down the street, and then in the background you got your Mexican builders and the roofers and the electricians and the gardeners and the street workers and all this doing all that, and there's this fat woman going down the street, all these fucking Mexicans ruining our country. It's sort of like, well, no, they're not. They're taking jobs that you don't want to do. Yeah. It's like all immigration. It's all right if they're going to fulfil jobs that people aren't doing for lesser money. It's just common sense to let these people in to do it.
Most countries are smart enough not to let people in where there's already an abundance of people filling that job.
Yes.
So they'll let in doctors and nurses because they need more nurses and doctors. There's a shortage.
Yeah.
They're not going to let in anyone who... I mean, they do. It depends. Like Australia have kind of got it right. I think they're a little tight on it.
I think they're a bit tight.
America's a bit more lax on it, but they're still quite tight.
It depends what country you're coming from.
Yeah, so basically they'll say if there's a shortage of jobs, they'll let you in. If there's an abundance of people filling those jobs in that country, you ain't getting in based on your job.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, so England, the United Kingdom, Scotland and Wales and Northern Ireland. So, you're all included, you wankers, even though none of you wanted it. Have decided to leave the EU. The EU has a lot of freedom of movement. However, immigration isn't a bad thing. I mean, I voted to leave. I'm quite proud of the fact I voted to leave. But it was more to tighten up the control of immigration. I'm not against it. If there's a doctor coming over, bring him over. If there's an engineer coming over, bring him over. If there's some guy who wants to work in a factory for $7.50 an hour, does he really need to be here? There's plenty of people on job seekers that can do it. However, they choose not to. Those people are different people altogether. They are the scum of the earth as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
People who can work but choose not to, they don't deserve anything. However, they are drying up the system on welfare, when the welfare money can be spent better giving it to those who genuinely need it.
See, I would add to the people that can work but can't, the people that have so much money that they keep it all to themselves. But
if you've got so much money and you're not working, then you are inevitably spending your own money to survive.
That's fine, but I'm talking about people like wealthy corporations that are just basically trying to keep as much money to themselves as possible instead of spending it on useful things that will help the economy, basically.
Nintendo. You know, Nintendo has a cash reserve so big it could lose $250 million a year and not be bankrupt till the year 2052.
See, that to me is pretty bad.
Yes.
That's a lot of money which could be floating around the economy. They could use that for all kinds of investment purposes, training, all kinds of stuff. But no, it's to make sure that they continue onwards for 50 years.
However,
without having to earn anything.
That is one of the downsides to capitalism.
Yeah, it is. Capitalism, I think, is a dirty method of running your economy.
No, I believe it's the best way to run an economy.
I don't think it is. It's unfair. It gives big... I mean, I understand you... The premise is that what you work for is what you get.
Yeah.
And that's a very nice thought. But the more power you get, the more... It's exponential. The more power you get, the more power you can still get further. To the point where you've got so much power that the little guy can't get those opportunities to get that high.
Someone who's been to university... studied, got their masters, got their degrees, become a doctor, saving people's lives. Do you believe this doctor should be paid the same as someone like me who left school at 15 with no GCSEs and, with 3 GCSEs in English, maths and science?
No, but that's not what capitalism is.
No, but that's what not dictatorship, what's the other one? Communism. That's what communism is. Everyone's paid equally.
Yes and no. I mean...
But that's the flip side to a capitalism. That's pretty much the stone cold opposite.
Communism is everyone is treated equally. They don't necessarily get paid equally.
It depends where you go.
Pay is much more close, guarded.
Yep.
But then, things like public services... So to be educated as a doctor, you'd have to pay no more than anyone else for that. In an ideal world, it would be free. So yes, you've had to work for it, but you've got years. It's for free. No one's making you become a doctor. You've chosen to become that, and it's being paid for you for free. It's just going to be
if it's being paid for free. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what communism should be. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a communist anyway. I'm much. I need to look into the definitions of what socialism and all these other things are.
I think socialism is a bit more paid for by the state. They believe the state should provide a bit more. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm only guessing again. I'm not clued up, but I'm just going by. So Conservative is right wing. They're a capitalist, whereas Labour is left wing. They are socialist. They're against the Conservatives mainly because the Conservatives like to cut public spending, cut what the government spends, whereas Labour like to increase what the government spends and what they hand out. Mm-hmm. Generally, as a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
So,
I think as a society, I mean, I guess that's kind of where the word socialism comes from. Yeah. As a society, you should be working together.
Yeah.
Whereas capitalism is generally every man for himself. Yeah. And that's not what society should. That's not how society functions.
Well, it all depends, because I mean, if you've got one person that can generate 100 jobs, so you've got 101 people in work in your society through one person, mm-hmm. then isn't that greater for society than one person offering 10 people, but then the government paying for the rest?
But that's not. Socialism doesn't necessarily provide jobs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Socialism decreases jobs because they increase taxes on the businesses, etc.
But then they provide more free public services, so
yes,
it's able to look after people better.
But that's what I'm saying.
Socialism is not necessarily keeping everyone in work; it's just looking after everyone.
Yeah.
That to me, and whereas as opposed to you're on your own, good luck.
No, but if people can live without working, mm-hmm. people aren't gonna go, oh, I know, I'm gonna work 50 hours a week, 40 hours a week in this factory, putting eggplants in boxes, for minimum wage, when I can not work and earn the same money. What do you think people are more likely to do?
Well, see, that's where you rely on the free market to sort of adjust that by saying if there's no one, if everyone's saying, oh, I don't have to work because I get paid enough to survive.
Yeah.
Then no one's going to do the sort of shitty jobs like collecting things.
Yeah.
But then that means there's demand for people to do it, which means the pay would increase. So the pay would be higher to do that job than just doing nothing.
For those people that are willing to do it.
Exactly. So, but if you're willing to just sit on your ass and just get paid the bare minimum to live,
because
fine.
You can afford.
But if you're happy to do work, to do more work to get more stuff, then you get more money in return and can enjoy your life more.
That's capitalism.
That's capitalism. It is to a degree. That's what I'm saying. That's where capitalism does have its advantages. Yeah. But I think the Tories have gone too far in it, in that they're not.
No, I don't.
There are certain public services which I think should be provided by a government rather than a business, because at the end of the day, a business's primary objective, no matter what they say, is always profit.
Yeah, of course.
No matter what they say otherwise, unless it's like a very small, self-employed fellow who's just like doing it for his own personal reasons. On the whole, it's for profit.
Don't get me wrong. I mean,
and the government therefore has a responsibility, I think, with certain things, to make sure they provide that as an alternative to a business providing it.
Yeah.
Because they theoretically can provide a better service. Because they're not doing it for profit, they're doing it for the service. Which is why the NHS, I think, is a great idea.
Yep.
Because you look at America, healthcare is fucking expensive.
Oh yeah.
Insurance is, expensive as well, but I guess it covers you. Whereas the NHS
I'm just going to slow down for because you're on a bit of a rant at the minute.
You've got me going now.
I do believe what you're saying. Things that people need to survive. NHS, we need.
I think it should be worth
talking. Stop talking. Let me get my 2 cents in and then you can ramble on, because it has been about 2 minutes of you rambling. We've got 45 seconds left of this show.
Yeah.
So I do believe NHS should be paid for by the government. We pay national insurance, we contribute to it. The electric, gas and waters in the UK, I believe, should be owned by the government. They will do much greater good than all these companies which make profit from it. Because all the money they put into marketing and hiring massive amount in the call centre, they create jobs, you can argue that. However, can be put to renewable energies, which will bring energy rates down, and eventually everyone have free energy like they do in Iceland. Because I think a lot of theirs is geothermal energy, which is heat from the centre of the earth. Not literally the centre of the earth, because that hasn't been done yet. but that sort of thing. No one pays for electric in Iceland. That's the general rule. So, yes, but however, you know, your service jobs, you know, working in restaurants and places people want to go out to have a good time, then yeah, they should all be for the capitalism route of if you can provide a greater service which is going to get people through your doors, then why shouldn't you earn more than people who aren't willing to put that effort in to get people through the doors to get, you know, create more jobs, etc., etc. However, you're not going to get time to answer that to him because we're now at the end of the episode.
Well, in that biased opinion there.
Biased opinion in the end? You mean my...
No, that's your...
counterbalance?
No, that's fine. No, your counterbalance. Yeah, I'll do that.
Anyway.
Yeah, so, but yeah, I've probably got a bit more to say, but we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next episode. Who knows? We may talk more shit.
We always talk shit. That's what we do. Eventually we'll get to Mr. Buckethead. Lord Buckethead.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that too.
This is where it all started. It was Lord Buckethead. Right, Conservatives, wankers. Labour, wankers. Everyone, wanker.
All politicians.